Hey, good morning everybody. It's Friday, made it to the end of the week, and we've just got a short journey now to Tesco's at Kilsby, which I've got down as a favourites place on my satnav, so we've clicked the menu button into my places, and I always rename the favourites because otherwise it just comes up with the name of the road that it's on. So Tesco Kilsby Drive, it's just a short trip down the motorway. Could be there for 6 o'clock. It's now 5:20. Let's go. It's about half an hour, so plenty of time. Now, this is a TomTom 6200, and the mount is magnetic on there, so you literally just clip in the bottom.
You will arrive at your destination at 5:55.
That's it, secured to the windscreen. Get the engine going. Sunroof always throws me on this thing. It's like the buttons the other way round. Up's down and down's up. We've done our walk around checks. Everything's nice and secure, the pin's in. Just need to build my air pressure up. I know I said I'd do a video about the differences between TomTom and the Garmin, and why I stayed with TomTom. And one of the reasons is actually the satnav mount on the TomTom comes with a USB, an ordinary USB cable, and they supplied you with a little plug you put into your cigarette lighter socket. Now with the Garmin one, I had the diesel 770, so it was a slightly bigger screen than the TomTom. It was a 7-inch one. To apologise about the shakiness of the video, I've got it on a mount that's just bouncing around a little bit. I know you've put up with that all week. Anything else to put the GoPro on. So back to the sat-navs. TomTom comes with a power lead with an ordinary USB plug on the end of it, as opposed to the Garmin.
Follow M6 towards the south for 15 miles.
Which had an actual cigarette lighter plug that goes into the socket. And also with the Garmin, the live traffic on it was built into the power lead. There was like a little box that was halfway along excuse me, the power lead. And again with the TomTom, there's a SIM card built into the machine, and it just automatically does the traffic for you. Now both systems work quite well. I think TomTom's slightly better than the Garmin for the traffic updates. It's certainly a bit quicker in getting the information to you. Google Maps is absolutely brilliant. Sometimes I'll leave Google Maps running just for the traffic. Google Maps is pretty much instant, and you can see exactly how far the traffic jam is going to be for. You can to an extent with the TomTom. The TomTom's pretty accurate as well. With the Garmin, I didn't think the traffic was as good as the other two, and that was one of the deciding factors. It just always seems to take a bit longer to get the information through to you, so you often found yourself stuck in a traffic jam and thinking, well, why aren't you telling me it's a traffic jam? Now with the Garmin, you can link the sat-nav unit to your telephone, so you can actually get like digital updates rather than the analog through the power lead. But I didn't find it much better, in all honesty. Maybe they've improved. It's been a year or so since I've had the Garmin. But I think for me the TomTom slightly won it for that. Now sticking with the power lead, another useful feature for the TomTom is because it is just an ordinary USB lead, like one that you'd plug your phone into or something. If ever your cigarette lighter socket goes down, which they do from time to time, if there's an electrical fault with your cigarette lighter socket, you can't use a little dongle that they've supplied with you. And I've also found, like I drive a Volvo here, you've got a little USB socket just up there on the dashboard, and it's not really enough to power this satnav. It'll run it for maybe 2 weeks, and then all of a sudden it'll come up with low battery. So I think it just trickles through at maybe an amp or something, but not the correct ampage that's required to run the satnav all the time and charge the battery. So keeping with that thought process, if you develop an electrical problem with your truck, well, you can always switch to like a battery pack or something. And I carry a couple of battery packs just for keeping my phone topped up if I'm in a distribution centre or through the evening when all the electrics are switched off. And it's just that peace of mind that if anything ever goes wrong with the electronics of your truck, you've still got the backup of a battery pack and you can just plug it straight in. And I've seen this happen. I took over a coach going down to Spain, and when the coach turned up, it didn't actually have a cigarette lighter socket in there at all. So of course the first thing you do is panic. You're like, oh my god, I've done all my route planning, I've plugged it all into the satnav, but now I can't plug the satnav in. So if you've got a battery pack, you can just plug it straight into the battery pack, and if you get a good enough battery pack, it'll last you all day. It'll just charge up when you get to wherever you're going. So for that occasion I was back onto the maps again, and when I finally stopped at services on the other side, I was able to buy a battery pack. That was how I was introduced to the fact of something going wrong. It was a long time ago, it must be a good 10 years, maybe a bit longer. So that gave me my first taste of, oh my god, because no matter what anybody says, you do end up relying on your satnav. And years ago, when I first started out and I was a coach driver, I would navigate using a map, and I suppose it's fairly safe in saying that because I plotted all my journeys using a map, I had an idea of everything that was around me, and I always knew where I was. And with a TomTom or a satnav, you kind of lose that a little bit. You lose where you are in the world, because all you're doing is looking at the screen and following it around. So I'm quite lucky in the fact that because I've been on the road for so long, I know where I am. The majority of the time I still visit new places, and with the nature of the job, you're up and down the motorway like a yo-yo. Sometimes your brain can play a few tricks and you end up, where the hell am I kind of moments. It's just part and parcel of it. But definitely satnav gives you more time to do the things that you want to do. I still check it, as you've seen with Google Maps. I check the routes, and because I've been on the road for such a long time, 20 odd years and counting, driving big stuff, I do have a good feel for the country, and I know an awful lot of the roads are suitable to take high vehicles down. But it wasn't always like that. I have served my time with maps and making what we call pace notes. You write everything down. And again, the beauty with maps is because everything's written down on the map, as you follow the route along, you get to see what's where, like windmills and rivers. So when you look out the window, you actually know where you are and what these places are called. Whereas these days, when you just rely on a satnav, the satnav screen doesn't always tell you this information. When I first started using satnavs, I didn't really want to. I was quite happy using a map and a bit of paper. So for me to stick one of these things in the windscreen, it actually took quite a bit of doing. I was probably one of the last people where I worked to have a satnav. And the reason why was because again on another trip, I used to have a door on the driver's side, and I'd written all my pace notes and stuck it on the top. And I called into a services, and somebody had opened my door. I hadn't realised that the pace notes had flown out the window. Had flown out the window. And that was it. I had to rely on memory to get me to the next place, and all the map books came back out again. And it was a two-man job, and the other coach driver said to me, you want to start looking into these sat-navs? I said, no, I'd rather just stick with a map. He said, no, honestly, it will save you so much time. And I kind of fought him with it for a good week. We went to Germany, went along the Rhine, Black Forest or somewhere like that. I think it was the Black Forest we went to. And in the evening I'd be sat with all these map books out, bits of paper and making notes, and it would take me all night to plot out the following day's journey. And the other guy literally switched the sat-nav on, plugged it into a power bank so he could do all his route planning while we were sat, in the bar, which he did back then. And he just kind of flicked up the screen and went, doop, 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 that's it, that's me done for tomorrow. Yeah, that's it. Wow. Alright. So we gave it a go. And I bought my first sat-nav, I can't remember what it was now, like TomTom 1 or something, one of their very first ones. And when the first came out, your TomTom, all the mapping on it, because it was so new, they literally just had the main roads on the maps, and pretty much you'd plug your postcode in, stick your dot on the map, and the roads would be absolutely fine because it was only the main roads. It's only in recent years when they've started to get all the back streets on and all the back roads, and it's incredible really when you think about it. There's a guy in a van that goes round and he maps out all these roads. It's not an automatic thing that's done from the satellite, it's human involvement to put all these roads in place. It's a massive thing. But of course that then presents all the problems because there are so many roads now listed on TomTom, and because TomTom now has the opportunity to route you down all these different roads, this is where everything's starting to go a little bit pear-shaped. It's great if you're in a car or on a bike, that's not a problem then. But when you're in something as big as this, you need that little bit of reassurance that you're not going to end up going down a duff road. And that's why it's still important that you get the map books out and you do your homework. And it's only once you've got the knowledge and the experience and the confidence that you can look at the map on the TomTom and say, yeah, okay, that's fine. If I'm still going to somewhere new and I've plugged it into the TomTom, I'm probably happy with 99% of the journey. But there might be, I might see a bridge, or I might see a railway line, or it might cross over a river. And it's at that point that I'll say, okay, now I've not been down this road before, I just want to make sure I can get under that bridge, or I can go over it, make sure there's not a weight restriction. And again, all the restrictions on there you saw yesterday with that little bit of 7.5 tonne road. Remember, we were between the two roundabouts, the top road had the pink line down it. Well, that means it's a restricted road, so that could be a weight limit, it could be a bridge. If you've got a bridge that's too low, sometimes it will just take the whole road out, so you can't enter or go into that particular road. So if I see something on the screen of the TomTom, and I do check the whole route, especially the bit that I've not travelled before, and if I'm a bit, okay, there's a bridge there, I just need to have a quick look at it, I'll get Google Maps out and I'll find that place on Google Maps. I'll switch to Street View, that's a bit of a mouthful, it's 5:30 in the morning, switch to Street View and then come back a little bit and look at the bridge, and then you can see the warning signs, and then I can make that decision, yeah, that's okay, that's higher than me, or actually no, that's 15'7" and I'm 15'9". I'm not going to risk it. We'll go a different way. So satnavs definitely have come on a lot. They do have their fair share of wobbles, but if you use them correctly, and going back to that bridge, if it was 15'7" and I'm 15'9", if the satnav was still trying to send me that way, then I would look at the route and say, well actually I think this way will prevent me from going underneath that bridge. And then you can put your waypoint in and just send it that way to the way you're going. It literally takes 3 or 4 minutes to do this stuff, so I would far rather spend 3 or 4 minutes in a lay-by, in a services, you know, at the last drop, just double checking to make sure that route's going to be okay, and making the alterations whilst I'm parked up. There is nothing worse than getting to a low bridge and you can't get underneath it, and you've got nowhere to go. You've then got to start reversing 4 miles up the road to find somewhere to turn round. You know, or you kind of push yourself and think, do I risk it? It's only 2 inches. You know, you creep underneath and you listen for the bangs. You know, you shouldn't be doing this stuff. If you just spend 5 minutes at the most before you make your journey, you'd end up saving yourself all this. So again, we are only human and mistakes do happen, and usually that's because we're tired or because, you know, the company's changed your collection at the last minute and you've got literally nowhere to stop, so then okay, I'm going to have to rely on my satnav now. It's done the last 30 trips absolutely fine, why wouldn't it do this one fine? And that is the time that your satnav will think, got you. You know, and you'll end up on a road like this. So if it's safe to pull over, if you've had to reroute yourself, and if it's safe to pull over and have a look at the screen and just make sure your map's taking you a decent way, then that time spent is invaluable. You just actually, I will put this one in because this is another one that I had to find on Google Maps. The postcode sent me to a completely different place.
Left.
And I had to do this the same way that I've done all the other ones that you've seen throughout the week. I did this via Google Maps.
There left, A428.
Just because I've been a million times doesn't mean to say
after 400 yards, cross the roundabout and take the
anybody
second
else
exit.
has. I think the satnav, the postcode took me to the building over on the right hand side, so they can turn me right at this next roundabout and off and up onto a bit of a mission up that road over here.
Cross the roundabout and take the second exit, A428.
So it was a mile out, an absolute mile out. And I got to the destination and I pulled up and I said, oh, is this Tesco's? He was like, no mate. No mate, for about the 600th time today.
After 200 yards, cross the roundabout and take the second exit towards Rugby, then you have reached your destination.
That was one of my very first jobs. I was more concerned about driving the Arctic rather than looking at where I was going. Oh yes, the postcode will get you there, they said. Right. Never rely on
After
anybody
200
else.
yards, you have reached your destination.
Here's one of them bicyclist type people. So there we go, 100 yards, you've reached your destination. This is the bit that scared me. See this signpost, low bridge. I remember seeing that the first time I came round it. It's a mile.
You have reached your destination.
And we're here. You've reached your destination. There we go. I suppose the other part of driving is finding your way around all these places. always easy. Right, we'll get myself booked in, and hopefully we'll be in and out fairly sharpish. Over and have a look. It will take you literally 2 minutes, because the chances are, even if it's gone a slightly long way round, there's a reason why it sent you a slightly long way round, and it's worth looking at. So I hope that's a decent bit of information. So again, for the TomTom, pretty much the power lead and the traffic was the main reason. It's also got a bit of a clearer screen, I think. The app on the phone is better for TomTom. We'll go through that in a bit. And it's also got an online part to it as well, where you can program your routes online and send it through to your TomTom. And we'll do that. We'll have a little look at that next week. I was only going to do these for a week, but I'm quite enjoying myself, so we might do a bit more next week. But we'll try and show you the laptop side of things and the app and how it works with the satnav, because once you've got all your favourites in and you're good to go, if you download the app for your phone, you can actually find all your favourites through the app. And you just press a button and it sends it straight through to the satnav. You have received a destination, and away you go. Absolutely brilliant. So we'll have a little look at that in a bit. And I'm only a few miles away now from Tesco. I know this one will get me to the door because I've been a million times. So I won't bother with the rest of the video. We'll see how the rest of the day pans out. We're about 20 to 6 now. We're only about 10 minutes away, so we're in good time to get there. I hope you all have a good Friday and have a good weekend. I hope you all get home safe and sound. And please, if you've any questions, I know most of you will probably be watching these videos over the weekend. If you've any questions at all, just pop me a line or pop me a message on Facebook or through YouTube. My name's Steve Jane. Just find me there on Facebook through the forum, and I'll be quite happy to answer any questions you might have. Right, have a good weekend everybody. Ta-ra for now.